Release me. My name is King U. Everybody calls me King U. My family still calls me Universal. That's what the U stands for. But my government name is John W. Dobbs. My Florida DC number, inmate number is C00618. The reason I'm telling you to release me is because I have every right to make this demand. I'm dealing with law enforcement officials who are not enforcing the law. What they're doing is making me go through every loop, every supposedly quest for a remedy and denying me based on fraudulent standards of law. They're misapplying the law because I think because they believe that the public just doesn't understand and can't comprehend the law. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm gonna put it like this. This is basically about money. Out here, it's about money. It's a good old boy system. These dudes are just doing favors for each other in these courtrooms when it comes down to people like me, people from poverty level communities and stuff like that. And you know what I'm saying? Basically, you know what I'm saying? They got a system out here which, you know, I guess statistically they make it look like something is going on properly, or they just throw a little something to the people a little bit, but basically they're doing whatever the hell they want to do. You understand what I'm saying? Right now, what they're holding me for because they owe me billions of dollars. When I say billions of dollars, I mean literally they owe me billions of dollars. It's crazy because of the simple fact that they're crazy. I mean, I only charged them $350,000 a day. I told them that on January 17, 2007, okay? But they refused to abide by the law. When I recognized that they was breaking the law, I told them I'm charging this. I said this in open court, so this is a contract. You know what I'm saying? We all going through these proceedings. They understand and know that I'm innocent until proven guilty, which I'm showing them that not only am I innocent until proven guilty, at the same time, y'all don't even have proper jurisdiction to hold me in the first place. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm going through with these guys basically on my own. Me and my girl, we came out here to visit my kids from I'm from Southside Jamaica, Queens, and all that, man. But I had a crib over there by Atlanta and Marietta, and we came from over there to Florida to see my kids from my previous relationship. Man, we was out here for a day and a half. You know what I'm saying? We were supposed to be leaving in the morning, and we went to a strip club, and some guys, you know, they jumped us and all this type of stuff. Blah, blah, blah. I'm getting ready to go take you all through that. You know what I'm saying? The standing ground law was in effect. You know what I'm saying? It came into effect October 1st, 2005. That's when it became effective. And this happened in October 2006, so it was effective for a whole year. Most people didn't know that Florida had a self-defense law because it's encompassed in the justifiable use of force. Okay, what happens is, you know what I'm saying, self-defense only applies to you, but you got the right to protect your property and another. So that's why it comes under the umbrella of justifiable use of force. Okay, check it out. The people involved in the fight against me, you know what I'm saying, I was the only black man who was in the altercation, and I was the only person arrested. And despite the evidence that, you know what I'm saying, I'm the only one who said it was self-defense. Everybody else just said they was coming to help somebody. So basically they said they don't even know how it started. But check it out. Bam. Under penalties of perjury, I declare that the statements that and facts that I'm displaying and the paperwork is true and correct. Okay, so I want you to know this is not about me, because they seem to be adamant about not letting me out regardless of what. I've even had a public defender tell me I can argue this thing where they have to release you, but you know they're not going to let you go. Okay, right now my mom's just filed a complaint with the Department of Justice. Now the complaint number was 22-0CR, I guess that's Office of Civil Rights, OCR, 22-OCR-0077. Okay, that was the number. It came under two different titles, and I'm going to explain that to you. One said John Dobbs versus the Ninth Judicial Circuit, which is the Ninth Judicial Circuit of Florida in Orange County, and the other one said John Dobbs. And when they denied it, they said John Dobbs versus Orange County Sheriff's Office. So they just changed the name, which I don't know if that's going to make it hard for you to find this case or whatever it is, man. But I'm going to break it down to you, okay? First of all, the standard that they deny me on, they've been saying that I've been doing this that this is too long ago, 2006. They're saying, okay, the incident took place in 2006, there's nothing they could do about it. They say this is 15 years later. First of all, I challenged this case from the beginning. and they never had jurisdiction from the inception. Okay, it's a matter of a lack of subject matter jurisdiction, a lack of proper paperwork dealing with the fact that most of these documents are indulgences of fraud on the court. I'm going to break down what fraud on the court and distinguish what that is between the difference between fraud and fraud on the court. There's two different standards, okay? And all of this is basically a void judgment from its inception. You know what I'm saying? You can't build a proper judgment on a judgment that was void, okay? So there's nothing that they can do to save this, okay? The only thing they're doing is bucking me because they owe me this money. Now, all you civil rights activists out there, all you rappers and all that type of stuff that's been doing y'all things, you know what I'm saying, and talking, man, y'all need to take advantage of this opportunity that comes with my case. There's like 30 errors. Half of them will give me a new trial, half of them will give me emergency release, okay? If they're doing this to me in this abundance of reckless disrespect for their own laws, for the laws that they are held accountable to apply and to uphold, then imagine, you know what I'm saying, all the other dudes who got one or two errors, this, that, and the other, but they still entitled to relief, okay? This right here is just a flagrant, you know what I'm saying, disrespect for my people and the law, okay? These people and their good old boy system, tactics have infiltrated our system of justice. Okay, so we got people, and I need you people that's working with the government to say, hey, I'm not going to do you that favor and disrespect this man or disregard his case or overlook it and stuff like that. We need y'all to start standing up, man. Y'all can't trust that just because they smiling and they seem like they peaceful and this, that, and the other. What they're doing is violent to our community. They're taking us out of our community and they're leaving young dudes to handle all of the big responsibilities, all the big taking care of the family. Of course, there's a lot of money out there and these young dudes are now holding that money, and then they're making fun of the fact that we're making immature decisions as a community out there. But it's because all of the strong men, anybody who they feel, you know what I'm saying, that they could get rid of, you know, they do this like a kid playing with ants and shit. An anthill. They just doing it. They have money to mess with. Oh, y'all start protesting too much, we're gonna raise the price on gas and milk and shit like that. I mean, just to fuck with the community. Okay, check it out. Let me explain some of the things. Let me show you something real quick. Okay, the stand your ground law says I got the right to prevent myself from being harmed. I got the right to, you know, you heard about people shooting somebody before the person even got the chance to lay a hand on them, right? This is what a lot of people was protesting, okay? Now look at me. This is me after the incident. This is me in handcuffs. Look at my injuries. I was cut 6 times by these guys. They destroyed my relationship with my children. I mean, my children actually call another man daddy right now. I'm a few miles from where they stay at, and this is the mentality that has been left to my children. You understand what I'm saying? Not even the courage to come and view me because they didn't have me as an example. Hey, yo, listen. I'm kind of hyped up right now. I feel like my mother was very disrespected by whoever decided to take the case away from the man who was assigned the case in the Department of Justice. And this has happened before. Most of the agencies we go through, we might find somebody who's working and doing things according to the due process, and then all of a sudden we'll have some supervisor or somebody come and take the case from them and then throw it out, deny it, or dismiss it based on this standard that, okay, the case is too old. If you kidnap somebody 20 years ago, that does not make it a legitimate kidnapping because it happened 20 years ago if you're still in custody, if you're still being held by this person, okay? Now, they're just doing this because I'm telling you, it's some kind of fraternity. I don't know what the hell they got going on, but this thing is is deep and it's reaching all different levels. Okay, now I'm not sure if it's just a clerk rubber stamping thing when they're not supposed to kick my case out, blah blah blah. But my mother, she believed in the government, she believes in it. She worked for the state before, and she always professed that that was the best place to be working. You know what I'm saying? That's where that's something that we could rely on as a people. You know what I'm saying? And I believe that the ultimate goal of the country is something that we can rely on as a people. But until y'all do right by me, I'm still alive now. I'm still alive. Okay? Now check it out. Hey, if you want to hear a more calm version, if you want to hear a more calm version of everything, and you really want to see the breakdown where I get the chance to break everything down, go to YouTube, Revelations 2020, King U exposes the game from prison. Or you can check out one of my mans he gets masked up and all that, and he makes one called The War for King U on YouTube. Okay, now there you're gonna see a nice peaceful breakdown and everything. Right now I'm hurt. My people are hurt. You know what I'm saying? The standard that they're using does not apply. I'm gonna show you something. Okay, let me finish this right here. Okay, right here, this knee injury, that's from me being beat down to my knee. You understand what I'm saying? I'm bouncing on my knee, standing up, fighting to stand up, fighting multiple people, and I get knocked down and I get back up. You understand what I'm saying? So this is the evidence of that. Okay, now this right here is evidence that not only was I cut, but also I was grabbed and my shirt was ripped, the buttons are popped and all this type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Okay, this is evidence of, you know what I'm saying, me, you know what I'm saying, defending myself, getting cut, you know what I'm saying, by the weapons and stuff like that. That you're gonna see also evidence that I used my fist initially, and people were getting punched, and this is how my hands got damaged. You know what I'm saying? As far as punching people and stuff like that, you're gonna see this. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna see numerous cuts. Like I said, I was cut 6 times. You know, I'm just giving you a little breakdown. I was cut 6 times. I got stitched up in the county jail. They took these dudes to the hospital, and all of them was felons. You know what I'm saying? All of them were felons. I was the smallest dude in the fight. I weighed 168 pounds at that time. You know what I'm saying? I had got to 217 back here, but I'm about 200 right now. Then I was a real small dude, 168. Okay, so I'm dealing with 5 dudes bigger than me, and I'm defending myself and my girl. Now they took them to the hospital to get stitched up, but they took me to the county jail, and the doctor in the county jail actually said to me, "It looks like you've been attacked by dogs." Was you attacked by dogs? I was like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? I didn't really get a chance to look at myself, but I was in bad shape. Okay, so these are injuries right here that you're seeing. You know what I'm saying? Let me see something right quick. Okay, like I said, I've been showing that there's a lack of subject matter jurisdiction. Subject matter jurisdiction, why? Because of the simple fact that no complaint was filed. Okay, the documents that they presented as a complaint do not qualify as documents that the court could view as evidence because they were not notarized or sworn to under oath by someone authorized to administer oaths, like the so-called affidavit. Okay, so that means that the court's purpose is to mediate disputes between 2 parties, whether it's the state and a person or 2 people or so forth like that. That's their job, that's their purpose, to interpret the law for you and to mediate disputes. Now, there is no dispute if there's no complaint filed. There's no dispute that the court can legally recognize to have to take jurisdiction of the subject matter. Okay. Now the paperwork that they did use are fraudulent. Now the purpose of the difference between fraud, I have a 4-year time limitation. If you don't bring it up in 4 years, you know what I'm saying, the court's not going to review it. But fraud on the court now. Fraud on the court is when the fraud affects the integrity of the court. And this is why I say release me, because of the simple fact that you need to save the integrity of this court system. Okay? There's no way that all these people, I got thousands of people now rooting for me and overseas, and a lot of Americans, but not enough, because of the simple fact that everything seems to be getting hacked and so forth. This is very deep. I haven't gotten letters, mail, and stuff like that. I got a website that was viewed over 1 million times. I never got 1 letter pertaining to it. Okay, I got a homegirl who I found out wrote me 15 times, and I never got 1 letter. Okay, so this is what I'm trying to tell you, that it's a conspiracy to oppress me. Okay, to oppress me, and they really want to get away, do away with me. But I put advertisements in Don Diva magazine 2013, 2018 National Enquirer, 2020 I was on the cover of Florida Star newspaper out of Jacksonville, Florida. Okay, I've been promoting this case, and I do have a little bit of support. I got over 1,000 signatures, about 1,500 signatures of people, you know what I'm saying, who's signing, stating that they're witnesses to the civil rights violations and the violations of due process based on the public records. Okay, because all of this stuff is a matter of public record. Check it out. Let me show you something first, so you understand what I'm saying about fraud in the court. Okay, fraud on the court. In a judicial proceeding, a lawyer or party's misconduct so serious that it undermines or is intended to undermine the integrity of the proceeding. Okay, check it out. Then now, let me show you something else. An affidavit. An affidavit. By definition, an affidavit is a voluntary declaration of facts written down and sworn to by the declarant before an officer authorized to administer oaths such as a notary public. Could be a judge, could be a clerk, stuff like that, Ben. But it can't just be a police officer. Police officers do not have that authority. Okay? Now, right here, I'm going to say, like I said, fraud on the court is a special standard. Okay? Now, right here, you see Rule 60, and this is the Federal Civil Rules of Court. Okay? Now, civil rules. Okay? Now, basically, that means it's a civil right. Now, every state has its own duplication of this in some kind of way. You know what I'm saying? So it's like this. Man, Rule 60, we're going to see that this is telling you the grounds for relief, man. But then it says that time and in effect, it says these must be made within a reasonable time for reasons 1, 2, 3, no more than a year after the entry of the judgment. Okay, but we're going to go to Rule 60D, and then that's other powers to grant relief. This rule does not limit a court's power to, and we're going to go to number 3, set aside a judgment for fraud on the court. So when they say that there's nothing they could do because of the time that's passed in my case, that's a fraudulent, that's a false standard of law. Okay, so they're denying me a civil right in that alone. I'm being denied a civil right by the Civil Rights Department, okay, of the Department of Justice, if they try to uphold to that and not respect the appeal that's being set for. The appeal was mailed out today. Today is March 1st, okay, 2022, okay. Now, as I said, an affidavit is a statement of facts sworn to before someone authorized to administer oaths, okay. Now, bam, check it out. This right here actually says charging affidavit, and this is pertaining to my case. Okay, this was put out then. If you notice, you're gonna see that there's no notary over here. It's a Corporal DeWanna Pelton. I guess that's one of the officers, because I did see her interrogation of one of the witnesses. Okay, this is Detective David Felon. He's actually an African American or Haitian a detective. Okay, from what I understand, he's no longer a detective. I think he lost that rank somewhere. But either way, this is the Orange County Sheriff's Office narrative, which they're calling the complaint as well. Okay, if you look at the bottom here, you'll notice that it's not notarized either. So therefore, this is an irrelevant piece of paper. Okay, and so irrelevant that the court recognized it. The clerk of the court, when she first got it, and I'm gonna show you 2 different dockets. Okay, now this docket right here, if you notice, all of the dates are backwards. It's going from the newest down. So I have to go to the back page to show you the beginning. And I think that's a sign. I think that means, like, screw them over or something like that, because most people don't have their cases like that. I think it's a sign to other attorneys or whatever in the know. I actually have a friend who's a supervising paralegal, and she said that when she was looking at my case, all the lawyers started coming to her desk and said, "What you looking at?" Because all kind of fire alarms are going on. They got some kind of fire alarms going off when my case comes up. Okay, all right. It says complaint filed, 10/25/06, none. Okay, the incident happened about 2 o'clock in the morning, so it was like the night of the 24th. But it's 10/25/06, complaint filed, none. So how are we proceeding in this matter when no complaint was filed? Okay, and I just demonstrated, because I showed you the paperwork that the court does not recognize as, and I'm going to show you another document. just so you know that this is legitimate, that they've been doing this. This is, and I believe this was printed in 2007. You'll see, you can barely see it, but this was printed in 2007. This is 10 years later, and it still says the same thing, so we know what I'm dealing with. Okay, this right here is irrelevant. I don't know why it's part of the page, because my case didn't happen till the 25th, right? But it says complaint filed, none. Okay, it still says that. Okay, this is in 2017. This copy of the docket. Okay, and everything is backwards, and this is why you're seeing it like that. Everything's going backwards. Most cases, you're going to be able to view them and understand them. For mine, you have to go to the back of the case to get to it. Okay, now what I was saying is, man, I don't know, man, but there's Meek Mills doing his thing. You got Kim Kardashian, you got Kanye West, you got all these people of influence out there. Man, step up to the plate, bro. Step up to the plate. Don't let this thing go. This right here is magnificent for the cause. Okay, I don't know anybody with more errors in their case than mine. Okay, all the laws and all the evidence is on my side. The only thing that's not on my side is the law enforcement. Okay, let's check it out. Let me show you something. All right. Oh shit! I got this paperwork all mixed up. What's up?
Yo.
All right, check it. Right now, we're looking at the police statements of Justin Idell. Okay, as you can see, he says he was a floor man, he's security, okay, at the club, okay. Now, these things never make it. These things.
I'll take that all that. Let's get something to go.
All right, like I said, we're talking about Justin Idell, the security for the club, okay? You know what I'm saying? This is what he says. I'm just telling you, this stuff never makes it really to the courtroom, okay? I mean, as part of the record. They take it out the record, okay? He says basically, they said that I had to walk out with security because basically like I was scared or something. I didn't take it as that. They said you and your girl need security. Okay, you and your girl need security to walk you or something like that. There was no security around us, and I took it as a compliment, just saying I got a bad chick with me. You know what I'm saying? So I just kind of like waved at him. You know what I'm saying? But he says as if I was already in the car when that happened, and he said we didn't walk him out in particular. You know what I'm saying? They basically do this because they're trying to say they protecting the females because we was at a strip club. Okay, this is all involved in the fact that people didn't like the way me and my girl was macking in the strip club. Okay, and we were African American in a strip club that was, where we were the only for African Americans. Okay, now at which time the guy got out the vehicle and then he says basically that I yelled back, I didn't need nobody to back me up. Okay, I mean that's not a crime for me to say I don't need nobody to back me up, but I guess it was meant to make me look like something because I don't remember saying it. Sounds like something I would say, but I don't remember saying it. And if I did, I might have said it playing around, but it's not something I remember. Okay, at which time he says that we need to get back in the car. Another guy started yelling back across the parking lot, and then he said at that time the guys ran towards each other and started fighting. When you say ran towards each other, so they met between the vehicles, yeah. Okay, when you say you're talking about the four gentlemen. Okay, actually there was five. One of them seems to be young, and I think they're protecting them. So everywhere we go, they're talking about only four. And one of them, he really couldn't fit into the fight, but he was there to obstruct me and my path of exiting the fight or getting to my girlfriend to protect her. Okay, anyway, so there was five guys. Okay, the black male. Okay, from the other vehicle. Okay, yes. Okay. You recall, okay, what I was doing. They said it was a fist fight, And did the female get involved? As the fight progressed, the other gentlemen began to join in and fight, and everybody was throwing punches back and forth. The girl actually got out of the vehicle and started screaming, throwing punches as well, and slaps and jumping on. I think she even jumped on one of the guy's backs, and then when it looked like punches, the guy came out the driver's vehicle with the female, and the head came out and hit one of the guys in the chest, which that time, the guy grabbed his chest and stepped back, and from the experience, at that point, there was something more than the fist that the guy had, and the other guy started joining in, and you could tell that he was down on the ground surrounded by gentlemen and clearly stabbing at random. Okay, what I used was a 3.5-inch pocket knife, which is legal, and it's been returned to me by the police all the time, you know what I'm saying? Whenever I had been searched by them or asked if I had anything on me, okay? The first one he could get a hold of, and then, okay, basically this is what he's saying. So you see that I was down, and you see the evidence with my knee, the injury to my knee. Now, I'm going to go and I'm going to show you what the other security, this guy doesn't even come to testify, okay? They don't even put this in the record. None of this is in the record. But this guy doesn't even come and testify. He's not even called to testify. And he's very exculpatory in his evidence that he provides for me. Okay, so he says, they're clearing the parking lot out, so, you know, they were already outside. You see that you're talking about the group of 5, the 4 gentlemen and a female. Okay, now he's saying it as if there was 3 of them and 2 of us, okay? And I guess they were looking at each other, you know, and basically the group on one side, the black dude was on the other side, okay? Basically, I guess they were looking at each other. I don't know, he's saying that he doesn't really know what was transpired, okay? And really wasn't paying attention to words, you know, and man, he's talking about where it started, and to the left, it started all the way to the left, you know what I'm saying, of the 300, which was where the Acura was parked, which was my Acura. They basically, when they all came out, they started on the right side and they moved all the way to the left, okay, then back to the right. But the CSI explained that the trail of blood was from one car to indicate that the other car was parked 6 parking spaces apart. Each parking space is 10 feet wide, that makes it 60 feet. Okay, so they had to travel 60 feet because my car got a dent in it that they say occurred during the fight. Also, the blood spatter evidence on my car made CSI say that they believe that the car happened at the rear passenger side. The fight happened at the rear passenger side of my vehicle. Okay, say between the 2 of them, he clarified they're all swinging punching. And like a punch to this one guy, a punch to this other guy, just in circles, you know, just all hitting each other. Which there's only one guy that all these guys are fighting, so that doesn't make sense. But he's letting you know that they were all involved and it was not a one-on-one fight. Okay, and then me and Justin, he's talking about Justin Idell, we told him, you know, stop the fight and break it up. And then they didn't listen. That's when we decided to go back inside. It's like too much. Okay, why is it too much? If there's 5 of them and there's 2 of y'all and there's 1 of me, that means there would be 7 on 1 to be able to subdue me. But no, it's the simple fact that it was 5 on one, and they knew that they supposed to take my side, so it would have been 5 on 3 if they'd have been on my side. And these dudes actually turned out to be regulars at the club. Okay, one of my adversaries in the fight, actually the one who's deceased, his father owned law firms, I believe. I was told, in several different states, and right now he's supposed to be an assistant law professor, so he has a lot of influence in that area. I mean, in that area of career, you know, lawyers, judges, stuff like that. So I'm really just going to get shitted on everywhere I go unless I find somebody who's, you know what I'm saying, strong enough and has integrity on his own to do his job. Okay, it said, did you see anyone with the knife? No, that's when we were both back inside. When we came back, went outside to check and see if the fight was over. They went to see if the fight was over. They didn't want to had no parts of this thing. You know what I'm saying? That's when they saw the gentleman on the ground with the 3 stab wounds. Okay, so that's exculpatory evidence for the simple fact that he's saying that the knife was not thrown until that time until after they called the police. That means that actually when they called the police because of the simple fact that I was fighting 5 dudes. So if you calling the police because I'm fighting 5 dudes, that means you basically calling the police and they're supposed to help me. You understand what I'm saying? Now, after that, you're going to have another 911 tape probably when they find out somebody's been stabbed. Hey, we need an ambulance over here, this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. You know what they tell me when I want the 911 tape because I know it's exculpatory evidence? They say that they don't have them. They say there's a malfunction. This is beyond comprehension. You know what I'm saying? I mean, where do they do that? You know what I'm saying? You're telling me not only one 911 tape is missing, but 2 pertaining to my case. You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous. They don't even, they say that the proceedings, which I'm debating, I'm saying, man, y'all changed parts of this record. They're saying that that there's no audio recording or video recording of the trial. I was in the newspaper for this thing. You telling me you're not even going to record this thing? You know what it is? It's about the money. Okay, what I told them I was charging at that pre-trial hearing. Okay, check it out. Now, let me show you what the valet says. Okay, this is what the valet says. All right. Now, yeah, excuse me, I was in the middle of getting my hair cut and all this stuff, but it's an emergency that I get this stuff out here right now. Who knows what they're gonna do to me right now? All right, check it out. And I'm telling you, I need you guys, any of you big law firms, you know what I'm saying, you want an opportunity to get a piece of this pie, you know what I'm saying, I'm going to explain to you how I got this, I'm entitled to this money, you know what I'm saying, you know, help out with, you know, you philanthropists, whatever it is, man, you know what I'm saying, this is an opportunity to make a big difference in this country, okay, this is going to help out a lot of people, you know what I'm saying, this is what they don't really want to happen. Okay, this right here is the valet. His name is Philip Westfall. This is the key witness for these for the prosecution. You know what I'm saying? Because they rely on him a lot, even though he has changed his testimony a lot. Okay, and he basically says, as your attention was turned to him, what did you observe? I observed a female standing outside of the door of the passenger with great accuracy. She was yelling at a car about 6 spaces apart away. Now, let me tell you something. This did not occur. Her standing outside the car yelling did not occur until after the fight had initiated and at the ending. Okay, before that she was in the car. That's why the other guy says she got out the car. Okay, that's why I'm gonna tell you she was actually in the car. Okay, but this is the way he describes in the beginning. Says one of the gentlemen started walking over that vehicle. The driver of the female's vehicle came to out the driver's seat and around the back of the car. I wasn't fully inside the car. I had one leg in, one leg out because I was lighting the black and mild and the car door was open. She said, Daddy, one of us walking over here. So I walked around the back of the car and I thought that we were going to have a conversation and I was going to show him I'm standing up duty and he's going to respect that and maybe we could find out what was going on for the night because the club's closed mighty early out there. They closed like 2 o'clock in the morning and I was looking to see if maybe I could. Actually, I really wanted to smoke a blunt. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have no weed. I wanted something. I wanted to meet somebody who could tell me how that, and I had some music. I was making music at that time. I had like 100 CDs. I wanted to promote my music. Anyway, punched him in the face. He said, met up with that gentleman, punched him in the face, and that guy went to the ground. Another one of the gentlemen came running over. He started fighting with that gentleman that she was with. She tried punching, kicking, and hitting that gentleman. All of a sudden, it was 4 guys fighting a couple. People were being hit, punched, kicked in every direction. I was screaming at them, break it up. Okay, that's bullshit. Nobody said anything. When it started to get this, okay, whatever, man. I don't want to hear all that. Anyway, people started ripping their shirts off and fighting with the gentleman. Didn't seem like he was punching people very hard, but all of a sudden, everybody was bloody. Somebody ran up and kicked the female in the back. She got up, and then the gentleman from the car, I witnessed the last guy that came over there. I witnessed the gentleman from the car kind of, okay, swinging outside his shoulder, man. Like I know you can't see it, okay, man. Anyway, man, I just want you to see what he's describing at this point, okay? You know what I'm saying? Because of the simple fact that if somebody's coming in a hostile manner and I punch him, and even if I did punch him out of a criminal act, if I did, but I didn't, because that's not the way it went down. Eventually, at the trial, when they asked him who threw the first punch, he says he doesn't know. And they took that out the record, okay? But this is what he said. This is so crafty. I'm gonna break down how they even got the jury to find me to convict me based in spite of the stand your ground law. Okay, I'm gonna break all that down. But check it out. This right here is important because this comes out to be the first guy in the fight. Like I said, they were all felons. This dude was actually on probation. He's gonna tell the officers that he's out at the club 2 o'clock in the morning and he's drunk and he's part of this fight. It's a brawl. It's a public brawl. And nobody gets arrested but me. Nobody gets arrested but me. Okay? Check this out. Then, okay. He says he walked outside, walked to my car, a guy approached me about fighting. Where was your car? Okay, man. Okay, to the right side. Okay, you come. Okay. A fight broke out. Who was fighting? I don't know. That's the whole thing. I mean, I was involved in a fight. But it makes it seem like if I came up to him and was fighting him first, right? But he said, now did you see William Troy in the fight? Not even. What about Frank? Did you see Frank in the fight? I seen him fight, and I can't recognize who's fighting. You know, he's trying to cover up. He's like that. He really don't want to incriminate nobody, none of his boys. But I came to help. You see what I'm saying? So basically, he's saying that he didn't start the fight. The fight didn't initiate with him. You know what I'm saying? I'm just helping a friend. Okay, when they say, okay, who's the person that stabbed you? I don't even know, man. Okay, so there's a fight. Did you see the? Okay, man. I think he's a black male. Okay, man. Let me see. I don't even remember seeing him. He's described me about 5'7", 5. I'm 5'11", 5'11" and a half. Been that height since I was 17. But even in this system, they took everybody that came through with me on the bus with me, and they made them 2 inches shorter. You know what I'm saying? And they made one dude who was 5'2", 8'6" on this thing. They do whatever the hell they want out here. These guys are so lazy. They can have a conviction and then still cut corners. Okay, I don't even remember really seeing him. That's the whole thing. It's like a blur. Now, after the fight broke out, you ran over there, right, to help? Yes. Okay, yeah. Okay, so he's saying that he only came to help. I don't even remember getting stabbed. That's how drunk. How I just drunk, bam. Okay, he's getting ready to say how drunk he was, but the police officer tries to save him. Or how fast he was, you think? Yeah, exactly. Bam. Why? They know they're dealing with somebody with money, and they got their eye on locking me up. Okay, bam. Okay, I didn't know I was stabbed, bam. I'm trying. He's talking about the person who died. You see, he sees William Troy on the floor. He says, "I'm trying to stay with him so he can stay alive." And I realize I'm stabbed myself without even realizing I'm stabbed. Okay, I want you to know take note of that because you're going throughout the case, there's no statement against me. Everybody's saying that they came to help a friend, and nobody's saying who started it, and nobody's allowing them to say that it was William Troy because that would be basically blasphemy on his name. He was the third or fourth person in the fight because eventually it's going to come out that this dude Andre Blanco, whose police statement I just showed you, is going to admit that he was the first one in the fight. I guess his friend said, hey, we ain't going to say we the first one in the fight. You got to say that. Man, even though he was on probation, like I said, he never got locked up. And they're very strict on that in Florida. But in my case, they'd rather get me. Okay? Now, they treat me like I'm El Chapo or something. I don't know who the hell they think I am. You know what I'm saying? They got all kinds of misstatements of law and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Now, what happens is, this is the testimony that I'm being held on. These are the statements that I'm being held on. No, depositions, no sworn statements. Okay, nothing notarized. Okay, until December 22nd at the adversary preliminary hearing, when he says that what happened instead was that I drove right up to his car, jumped out, lunged at him, and stabbed him in the face. But he says he didn't see a knife and didn't know he was stabbed. Okay, if you say you didn't see a knife and didn't know you were stabbed at that time, and I'm saying that I stabbed you later on, okay, you can't really contest that, okay? I was breaking down the stand your ground law in the beginning of that hearing because based on this right here, okay, this right here is what you're going to see is a charge of information. The information on indictment is what the state files. What you saw at first was what the police file. The police file that, give it to the court, and the court gives it to the state, and the state says, okay, let me see if we're going to pick it up. So when they pick it up, they can pick it up with a indictment or information. Okay, now check this out. Now, this says that this information was filed, this would say 2006, November 20th at 4:37 p.m. Now, you see where it's stamped? Okay, I mailed this home to my people in December 16, 2007. And the purpose was because despite all these charges, okay, now this, I got acquitted of this charge because the gun was never used, okay? So this never comes up. These are all with the pocket knife, okay? Okay, the bottom line is, if you look at this document, this is what I had. It's not notarized. Nobody signed it. This is what I had for the first 2 years until I started to argue that my charging information wasn't signed on appeal and through habeas corpus. I tried to bring it up during the adversary preliminary hearing on December 22nd. When I did that, the judge cut me off. I did not get a chance to actually bring this up. He said, don't say anything more. I was just quoting the stand your ground law, 776.013, section 3, okay, Florida statutes. That's where it existed in 2006. It's been revised a few times, as y'all know. You know what I'm saying, if y'all familiar with the stand your ground law. But what happens is, I tell my public defender on direct appeal about, okay, the evidence. I'm talking to him about all that evidence, and he says, hey, I can argue this thing where they have to release you, but you know they're not going to let you go. This is what the man has the audacity to tell me on the phone. So I'm like, what? Okay, yeah. I said, my charging information, in a different conversation, I said, my charging information isn't in the sign. You know what he tells me? What if he signs it? What if he signs it? I snap. What are you talking about? What if he signs it? Hey, well, I'm on my constitutional rights. Next thing you know, I'm trying to fire him. He sends me a letter saying that I can't fire him. Okay, man. And when I do successfully fire him, he sends me this copy. Okay, as you can see, this is stamped the same date, 2006, November 20th, 4:30 p.m. in a different area from the one that I originally had that was filed. Okay, and he sends it with me with the records. Okay, man. Now everything is filled out. But I'm going to show you documentation when we let you know that this is fraudulent and backdated, even though they don't have jurisdiction based on the original parts of the case where Judge Brewer, who was my first appearance judge in Orange County in the 9th Judicial Circuit, he accepted this paperwork and held me with no bail. You know what I'm saying? This right here is an adversary preliminary hearing where I'm talking about. That's with a judge, Stan Strickland. This judge in particular, actually later on, years down the line, I heard that he resigned amongst accusations of dealing and fraternizing with witnesses because he actually went to the hospital and to see a witness, and that was in one of his cases. You know what I'm saying? He's working somewhere else now, but this is what I'm dealing with. Hold it for 1 second. These are parts of the adversary preliminary hearing. And in the adversary preliminary hearing, actually the officer, Deputy Herbert Mercado, who asked me to step out of my car, he refers me he refers to me as the victim twice, okay? I'm a little excited and I'm rushing, you know what I'm saying? I'm in an environment where this is what I'm doing is, you know what I'm saying, considered to be illegal, even though I retain that I have all my rights because they never had jurisdiction and everything that they've done is fraudulent, okay? As I'm demonstrating that the evidence that they portray to be evidence is based on a fraudulent standard, they can't hold that, you know, okay? Matter of fact, this Judge Strickland, who was my judge up until my trial, he actually said that, you know, he finds that I'm the one involved and that's enough for him to hold me, even though nobody brought up testimony as far as a murder. Nobody brought up testimony to support count 1 or 2 or 4 or 5. Nobody brought up any evidence. Nobody even said anything about those issues. The only thing was Andre Blanco. Okay, but let me tell you what this same valet, Philip Westford, that I showed you before says. Okay, check it out. Man. But he's talking about the distance between where the Hispanic male walked and the distance between where I walked and stuff like that. That's just something you might want to look at. I'm not sure if it's really, I don't really view that as too relevant, okay, because we already established that. So he says that we were walking up to each other all huffy, no hands up, no fist up, or nothing like that, but he knew it was going to be a fight. He was approaching him, and it was looking like they were going to have a fight. So he's talking about the dude is approaching me, and it's looking like we're going to have a fight. And then the black male swung and hit him, and instantly he caught himself on the floor. Okay, he says he didn't hit the ground. Before he says he hit the ground. Okay, man. Now it says after the Hispanic male got hit, did the three Hispanics, what did they do? The second one approached. Okay, singly. Now he's changed his testimony, so everybody's approaching one at a time now. He did what? The second one approached singly. He's stressing that now. Okay, what did he do? He swung at the black male twice, missed, and then the black male hit him. Okay, now this is I would have every right to do. Okay, so the second Hispanic male, did you see how? Okay, he was saying drunken roundhouses, or you've been trying to punch me before he got hit, yeah. And then what was the female doing? As the third guy approached, she attacked him. Okay, so the female was trying to ward off the third person coming up. Yes. Okay, and tell me what happened. Okay, blah blah blah. She was trying to kick and hit him. Blah blah blah. Okay, we're gonna go on. We're gonna move on. Okay, but let's get to the part, the basics. Okay. He says, to be honest, there's so much going on right there. I'm not exactly positive. Okay, he said, I think I focused back on the black male fighting the first gentleman. He was fighting very well, and the guys would approach him. He knocked them back real quick. Okay, then another guy would come at him, and he knocked them back real quick. Okay, but these guys kept coming, right? Yes, ma'am. Okay, I'm talking about Hispanic males. Yes, ma'am. Okay, they kept approaching the black male. Yes, ma'am. Okay, and they kept trying to fight him as well. Yes, ma'am. And they were trying to swing punch the black male. Okay, right? Yes, ma'am. Okay, let me move on a little bit to this part because this is very important. Okay, no, I just want to know any type of interaction between the guy who eventually died and the black gentleman. Did you see them fight at all? Yes, he was coming after the black gentleman, and to be honest, I do believe I saw the 2 punches in the chest that made the wounds. He hit him twice in the chest, and then he spun off that way, off to the left, and went behind me. The other gentleman, right, instantly came from kind of the passenger door where the female was after him. He hit him with the right hook, what looked to me to be a right hook in the face, and he spun off back in the other direction. And then that's when I started seeing all the blood. So basically, you're telling me that these guys are testifying that these guys are coming at me. Your witnesses are saying that the guy who died was coming at me. Okay, another guy came from the passenger side where my girl was, so you know that they were going after my girl. You understand what I'm saying? So then he saw that they couldn't handle me, so he came to try to help. Okay, this is what we're dealing with. We're dealing with this level of corruption. Okay, they kept me in prison for 15 years. They still keeping me here. I went to the Florida Supreme Court, the United States Supreme Court twice. Okay, the United States Supreme Court decided, okay, they wasn't going to review my case. You know, they got thousands of cases coming, and there's only 11 of them to do the whole country. That's understandable. Florida Supreme Court is kind of busy, but you got all these courts in between, you know what I'm saying, that could do something, and you know what they're doing? They're rubber stamping my case, okay? They don't even tell the state to respond to habeas corpuses, okay? Now, when you get to the trial, okay, it was based on these statements, though. and this paperwork that inspired me on January 17th to say, hey man, listen, I'm charging $350,000 a day until y'all release me. Y'all don't got no evidence, no law supporting what y'all doing. Man, I'm thinking that they're gonna let me go. Oh snap, he's getting ready to charge us some money. We really know we can't bluff this guy. Let's get him out of here. Man, I got 3 kids. I wanted $100,000 for each of them and their college funds and stuff, and $50,000 for me to get back on my feet because that little time that I was locked up in the county jail tore me up. You know what I'm saying? Financially, okay. I lost my beamer, I lost my act, I lost everything, I lost my girl, I lost everything, okay. Then, you know what I'm saying? So I wanted to get back on my feet. That was it, okay. I didn't think that was going to snowball into $1 billion. You know what I'm saying? Into $2 billion. I didn't think that this was going to happen. I added $1 million at the sentencing, okay, per day, okay. Now there's a case called Trezvant versus City of Tampa, and in this case, the officers pulled over this guy, I guess on his motorcycle or whatever, and they locked him up for 23 minutes. And the judge decided, when he argued about finances, that it was reasonable for him to charge $25,000 for them holding him for that time. Okay, that's the equivalent of $1.4 million a day. I came short of that by charging the $350,000 and the $1 million, whatever, man, that to $1.35 million a day. So it's not unreasonable what I'm saying. Okay, this is not my fault. Okay, all I want to do is make sure that this country learns a lesson from this era and starts doing things better. That's more beneficial to the country as a whole. But these guys have to learn a lesson. These good old boys have to learn a lesson as far as their place under the law. They're not above the law. Okay? Hold on for 1 second. Bottom line is my civil rights have been violated. They treat me like I'm not even a U.S. citizen. Okay? Let me tell you something. My grandfather fought in World War II. My father was a Coast Guard during the Vietnam War. My little sister right now is getting ready to retire from the Navy after 20 years. You're going to tell me that you could just throw me in prison like I'm not even a U.S. citizen? Is this how you respect the sacrifice of my family? Okay, my mother working for the state. I got cousins who in the military, who've been in the military. I got uncle who died during the Vietnam War. Okay, I got other uncles who've been in the military. You know what I'm saying? I come basically, I'm the only one who's been in this type of situation. Not to say that, you know what I'm saying, I'm not responsible for my own actions to a large extent when it comes down to other things, but particularly this case right here is what I'm supposed to be judged by. Okay, now if you allow this to happen, you're destroying the fabric of this country, because this country is based on advancement, growth, and the belief that we are moving towards something that's better for us as a whole. Okay, right now all I'm witnessing is people who's privileged. You know what I'm saying? And they're just shitting all over people from ghetto society, urban communities and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they don't treat them the same in these suburban and rural areas. They don't, they go hunting in the concrete jungle. They think it's a safari or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, yo, listen, man. 50, I don't know if you remember, but you know what I'm saying, Mutt introduced us. We worked out together in the park before, over there in Rochdale, you know what I'm saying, before you grew up and all that type of stuff happened, you know what I'm saying. I mean, I'm not saying we was close or nothing, but this is something, you know what I'm saying, I'm from the hood, you from the hood. I'm talking about Nas, you know, I don't know if you remember me, we done chilled 2 times with Jazz introduced us, and you know what I'm saying, we were smoking. Matter of fact, you the one who introduced me to DMX when I was making that belly, you know what I'm saying, we rolled up on y'all over there at the barbershop scene. Okay, AZ, you already, you know what I'm saying, same. Okay, Mr. Cheeks, you already know we go back to the 80s, back when the Lost Boys was just a little ragtag street gang of high school kids, you know what I'm saying, and y'all was having me do dumb shit, you know what I'm saying, because I wanted to be down. Okay, we're talking about 88, 89, you know, I became a man and do my thing after that, you know what I'm saying. But anyway, you know what I'm saying, check it out. It's like this. Let me show you right here. Boom. Okay, about the 911 calls. Okay, in your letter you request a transcript of the 911 calls. Okay, I never received them from the state, so I do not have it to provide to you. Okay, basically this is what my public defender Catherine Chin said. Okay, now during the trial, let me tell you something. They did some tricky stuff with the jury instructions. I gotta break this down. Okay, for one, they had a supervising public defender who brought up what they call necessity instruction, the rest of necessity instruction. See, the standing ground law says anyone who is not engaged in unlawful activity and who is attacked in any place where he or she has the right to be, has no duty to retreat, and has the right to stand his or her ground and meet force with force, including deadly force, if he or she reasonably believes it is necessary to do so to prevent death or great bodily harm to himself or herself or another, or to prevent the commission of a forcible felony. That means I don't have to be hurt. I can prevent death or great bodily harm. You can see I'm a victim of great bodily harm. Okay, so I have every right to stand my ground and fight. Okay, or a commission of a forcible felony. Okay, now the necessity instruction will go to somebody. Let's say you get caught selling a bunch of bricks, but you say, hey, the cartel got my family hostage and made me do this. Okay, so now you did sell the bricks, you did commit the crime, but you have a greater cause behind it, and the jury could find you not guilty based on acting out of duress and necessity. But in that, it says that the crime was committed. In the necessity instruction, which this public defender requested, it said the second degree murder had to be committed out of necessity. Okay, in the standing ground law, like I just said, it said if he or she reasonably believes it is necessary. So the jury's going to interpret that to say this is going to decide whether or not it was necessary. Hold on, what's up? Good. Reasonably believes it is necessary. So they're going to interpret it as this describing what's necessary. But it says that second degree murder was committed for a fact. Self-defense is never a crime. Okay, justifiable homicide, excusable homicide, self-defense. These are never a crime. Okay, you got different levels of crime. You got manslaughter, second degree murder, first degree murder. You see what I'm saying? These type of things. So they you know what I'm saying, told the jury that I was guilty, and then if you ask if the second degree murder was committed, the jury's of course going to say yes. Also, there's another jury instruction that they did. It's called it's the second half of the forcible felony instruction, and it says if he initially provoked the use of force against himself, then I would lose the right to defend myself and I have to retreat first. Okay, now initially provoke under layman's terms could be just like they said in that. Oh, I don't need nobody to back me up. The girl said, hey, don't provoke them. You know what I'm saying? These are not things that are criminal acts which allow them. Okay, and when they refer to that instruction, they're going to say it's an initial aggressive instruction. In the book it says it's an initially aggressive instruction, and then it says if initially provoked. Bam. Okay, when they put it in the actual instruction, it says initially provoking, it says nothing about initial aggressive. So the jury's not going to interpret it as an initial aggressive. They're just going to say that provoking it means that he doesn't have the right to stand his ground. Okay? Now the prosecutor made up a whole bunch of stuff, okay, and accepted perjury testimony and people switching up and stuff like that, man, in the closing argument. Didn't even stick to anything that the witnesses said. She didn't go with nothing that they said. She went on her own thing and made up her own theory. You'll be able to see this if you check it out. I go through a lot of this stuff, man. Okay, another thing is there's extra comma. All of these things, okay, this extra comma in the jury instruction has been, in standing ground law, has said that the courts have decided that it causes the jury to believe that you don't have a right to defend yourself against non-deadly force. Okay, so if this extra comma causes that, so they decided it's fundamental error. I have that in my jury instructions also. Also, I have what they call a Montgomery instruction. Okay, that extra comma is Talley versus State, Talley versus State. Montgomery is about the manslaughter instruction. In the manslaughter instruction, it says, hey, that you have to find that he intended this, that, and the other. This is an old one. They changed it in 2009, 2010. They found out that it takes away the jury's right to find you guilty of manslaughter and instead causes them to find you guilty of second-degree murder, because second-degree murder has a lesser element, saying that it doesn't have to have intent. Okay, so this is supposed to be the lesser included offense, but it ends up being on the same level as first-degree murder as far as being able to find you guilty of it. So it leaves the jury no choice but to find you guilty of second-degree murder. So they say that's fundamental error. I thought they didn't run it retroactive, but if you fit, your case was pending in that time period, okay, then you was entitled to that relief. I fall in a loophole by 8 days because Florida does not consider the case to be closed until they issue the mandate. So I'm entitled to a new trial based on that. They won't allow me to get that either. Okay, they're throwing everything out the courts. Okay, check it out. This is where I got proof that the public defender on direct appeal when I fired, he says right here, bro. Okay, one issue you want to raise, unsigned file information. You're talking about that charge information I showed you. So this lets you know that before he mailed it to me and it was signed, that he knew it was an issue. He recognizes it as an issue. He would not recognize it as an issue if the one that he had was actually signed. He would just say, nah, man, what you have is not official, but we have the sign. Okay, the information has been discussed in person with our elected public defender, Mr. James Purdy, who is in agreement that such an unpreserved error cannot be raised on direct appeal. Now, that's kind of crazy because of the simple fact that I filed a state Hague without his permission, without him knowing, and the judge sent and denied me and said it was an issue for direct appeal. I did that with a Judge Wright out of the 14th Judicial Circuit out of Jackson County. Okay, that was back then. Okay, also here, he talks about the judge that I had. He said, without any objection at the trial to try and advance the argument that the court committed fundamental error by doing what was requested is simply an attempt to put Judge Money in a no-win position. I'm doing life, and you're talking about putting the judge in a no-win position because I want to argue that the necessity instructions was fundamental error. Okay? It allows me to be convicted of a crime that does not exist. If I'm standing my ground, if I'm acting in self-defense, it's a crime that does not exist. You understand what I'm saying? You're allowing me to be convicted of a crime that never occurred, okay, or a crime that does not exist by record, okay? Now check this out. Let me show you what I'm being held on right here in Florida Department of Corrections. This is my records. These are the records. I'm not even supposed to be here, man. Look at this. What is this? It's blacked out. This is the records. Why do you have things blacked out? This is called being redacted. That means it's no good anymore. It's trash, okay? Look at all of these papers. Man, that's blacked out. They've been blacked out. I got papers where they're a little bit lighter where you can see what it's saying, okay? Man, you can see what it's saying, but you can see they redacted these papers, man. They redacted these papers, man. They redacted these papers. Okay, I'm here on nothing, man. I'm here on trash, man. And they're keeping me here and they're not doing anything about it. And no matter what I've done, they're acting as if they have some type of, they're using misdirection to overcome and misstandards of law. They're using fraud to lock me, to keep me here. And they know it's going to take me 2 years to come back to court with this argument because I got to be denied, appeal it, file it again, this, that, and the other. And time is going by. I'm getting older and older. Look at this, man. I'm going to keep on going. All the sentencing papers, I'm almost finished. Let me show you something, okay? Right here, where we at? Where we at? I'm going to skip to the final judgment. They put this X in here. That's not there. This is actually part of the record, okay? And there's an X on my final judgment. They done crossed it out. Man, okay? This right here, my commitment papers to the Department of Correction, okay? This is redacted, man. You don't do this to people's paperwork. Nobody's is in prison on that type of paperwork in this country, okay? So I'm telling you right now, release me, man. Release me, man. Release me. Make these motherfuckers release me, man. Don't just do it for me. Do it for the people. Do it for you. Do it for your family, do it for your future. This is about my kids. I don't care what they do to me right now. This is about my grandkids, okay? I want them to get the money from this lawsuit, okay? I don't need all this fucking money, but release me, man. Release me, man. Release me, man.